One, recording now in progress. Hello, Vicky. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time for this conversation. And you are a retreat organizer and a mental wellness advocate, and now you are also a Laughing for Life. A laughing life advocate as well, um, which is also fantastic. Um, and so it'd be lovely to hear your take on joy. And of course, the first question is, what is joy? What does joy mean to you, Vicky?
That's a $20 million question. Thank you, firstly, for having me on tonight. I've been having a little think about this, and I think that really joy is the elixir of life.
Very nice.
It's that inner spark, finding or refinding your inner child, being silly and having lots of fun. And I think for me, the reason why it's so important is because I've suffered some periods in my life where I have had, medically diagnosed depression.
Yeah.
And when you're in that state, you have an absence of joy. Joy disappears out of your life. It's very difficult to find. So when you do re-find that, you realize that there's actually nothing more important in life than being able to feel that again, especially when you've had it gone, when it's been gone for some time.
Yes, yes. Amazing story there. I mean, I love first of all no, the elixir of life, and that's such a
Yeah.
nice
I think it's
uh,
the glue, it's what makes
yes.
us human.
Yes, yes, and when we're in that kind of place, in that low kind of place, it can be absent, and reconnecting with it just sort of brings us alive again, brings life to life again. If I've
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yes.
you're kind of answered the second question in a way, because the second question is how important is it to you? But but if you're happy to say a bit more about
Well,
how
um, life is a journey,
yes,
and I think you find out things along the way, as life progresses and life experiences take place. So for me, my business journey sort of started with having a very bad bout of mental health illness that ended me up in a psychiatric hospital when my three kids were quite young. And that wasn't the first time I'd experienced depression and anxiety, but it was the worst time, I would
yeah,
say. Um, and so in discovering retreats,
yeah,
which is what I started to do for self-care and for maintenance of mental health maintenance when I came out of
yeah,
hospital, I rediscovered my joy and my desire to have fun and to feel
yeah,
like a little girl again, like me again, the me
yeah,
before I was a mother and a wife and had all
yeah,
of those responsibilities that adulthood often sort of inflicts upon us.
yeah, yeah.
And that led to me starting my own women's wellness retreat company. And I was very determined that fun should be part of that it should be wellness, friendship, and fun. That's our tagline.
Yes.
And
Wellness, friendship, and fun. Really nice tagline.
yeah, yeah. There's a retreat out there for everyone and for everything. You can do whatever you want on a retreat. You can go and sit in silence for 10
Yeah,
years if you want to, or go and climb up Everest. Well, I don't know if that's a retreat exactly, but
yeah,
for me, it was very much about getting women together who had sort of lost that spark,
yeah,
had lost that elixir
yeah,
somewhere along the way of becoming a mother and becoming an adult and trying to get them
yeah.
to connect with their joy again, to feel that
Yes.
spark.
Yes, it sounds very much as if the joy now it's like an anchor in your life. It's kind of it's the thing. Having rediscovered it and reconnected with it, right? Um, uh,
I want more
uh,
of it.
it is what?
I want more of it.
Well, yeah, yes, yes, yes,
You know,
yes, yep,
it's addictive,
yes. Well,
and I want other people to experience more of it.
yes, yes. Um, so what would be because the third question then is what will be your top tip or your what's your top joy to go to joy tip for you for example, what do
Well,
you like to do?
I like to laugh. I like to laugh, and I like to be silly and to laugh with people, and I like to encourage people to laugh with me. And I think
Yep,
that the amazing thing about laughter, and I don't have to sell it to you, is that it's free and available.
yep, yep,
And
yep.
we all know that we can tap into it, and it's really becoming my go-to. I think it was inherently my go-to in terms of my personality and how I
Yep.
grew up. I grew up in a silly family that played lots of
Fantastic.
pranks with each other, and
Yep,
we
yep.
just don't take ourselves very seriously. But I think that having lost that for some periods of my life, I just try and tap into that silliness and that laughter as much as I can.
Yes, just use that's something very interesting there about when you're growing up with that fun, that lightness, and that silliness and that playfulness. You weren't taking things and you weren't taking yourselves too seriously. Um, um,
Yes,
and there is this thing that seriousness can really can sort of start to suck the fun and the joy and the aliveness out of life. Um, uh, uh,
absolutely. And
uh,
life can get quite humdrum. I mean,
yeah.
adulthood isn't everything it's cracked up to be. Uh,
Um,
so I just
um,
think we need to create opportunities to reconnect with that inner child, with that uninhibited,
yep.
free, silly,
Yes.
fun-loving child in us that sometimes
Amazing.
gets lost along the way.
Yes. Yes. Free, fun-loving, so playfulness and spontaneity and just openness to the light, openness to the lightness of life is kind of what I'm
Yeah,
sort of reading into or hearing what you're saying. Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing. Um, um,
absolutely.
well, Vicky, fantastic. It's been a really lovely conversation. Um,
Thank you.
um, Thank you so much for sharing this bit of your journey and your insights. And uh, I'm sure having reconnected with it and feeding it the way you are, I'm sure it'll just you're in the tribe where it'll just sort of keep bubbling up forever.
Yes,
Um,
I really, really hope so. I think once you discover that passion for
yeah,
something and really truly believe in it, then it's just easy to want to sort of pay it forward and just share it with other
so
people.
nice.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Vicky, thank you very, very much for this conversation. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.